What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is a very, very different video than what I usually make on this channel. But this is one of these projects that I've been working on, and I just kind of wanted to just show it off. It's not anywhere close to like being the best it could be, but it's something that I've worked on for like a few days, couple of days, and it's just something I've really been involved in and just really enjoy it, basically. But anyways, let's get started here. So, what this is an Ion iCade. This is an old arcade system. Well, it's not really an arcade system. It is it's basically a controller for an iPad, like for an old iPad. And I don't know if it's necessarily, this generation of iPad, but it's something old like this. And basically you would just, you plug it in here and you feed in the power cord from here, and you basically just, boom, set it on there, turn on the controller, launch up whatever game you want, and then play. However, I never had this, like, I never had many games that I would ever foresee myself wanting to use this to play on an iPad. And I never originally owned these when these first came out or anything. I found both of these at Goodwill on separate occasions, but they were both at Goodwill, and I've actually still left the stickers on them, just kind of like as a reminder, and just because. Like, see, this one is, might be a little hard to see, but this one is $7.99, and then this one was actually, my bad, this was $6.99. This one's $7.99. But I bought these. I had bought these years ago, and I mean, it's been a long time since I found these, and I saw them, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty neat, and but I really don't, have a use case for it. I don't. At the time, I didn't have an iPad that would work with it, and I do now. But it goes back to that previous statement of, what am I going to play on this thing on an iPad that would work best with an arcade, like an arcade layout, like a fight stick layout. And honestly, that statement is still true to this day. I really don't know what I would put on an iPad that this would work best on. And now I think you can not jailbreak them these days, put emulators on them and whatever, and it might be better. And that honestly might have been the best thing I should have done, but I didn't. I did some looking around, and I know people have done this before. This is not, the first of anything, but it might be the first of how this specific thing is put together. So it is like, it's very janky and not the best way that it can. This thing right here, it works. It fully works, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But it is being held together by pure hopes, dreams, and tons of two-sided tape. But like I said, it works, and it works good enough for me. And there are some faults, and I don't know, maybe we'll even catch it on camera. So this screen here is, well, actually, you know what? Let me go get another one. Okay, I might be getting a little carried away. I might be getting a little ahead of myself here. Maybe I should start with what's made with it, or like what was used for it. So I really wanted to build this with things I had around my house, and not have to like special order anything for it. So, so a while back, probably a year or two at this point, probably a year ago, I went to a yard sale, and they had a bunch of Amazon return things. It was like they got a pallet of stuff, and they had a box full of these screens. Like, genuinely, I have like 15 or like 20 of these things. So this screen, I mean, these are great little project screens, and I'm guessing they're Amazon returns, but I mean, they work great. I've tested most, if not all of them. One of them did have an issue, and I literally just unplugged the ribbon cable and plugged it back in, and it worked just fine. So, anyways, let's see. It might be hard to tell on this. This has a factory like screen protector on it, and you can maybe see it here. I left it on this just because I thought it would probably get scratched. But if you look like right here, this screen is sitting on this little plate. So, and I'll show you more insides here in a little bit here. But I have a little foam square that kind of holds this center because I could not mount it correctly. And that little foam square I have since realized after putting this together and having it set for a couple of days, the little foam square has put enough pressure on the screen itself to pop it off of that back plate, because it is only being held on there by two-sided tape. I didn't know that, but that's how it works. And so I come home one day and this front panel was popped off. This screen was all the way down, and I was like, oh, okay, something happened. What happened? And I saw that. But anyways, it's being held together right now because I put a lot of pressure on these two little pieces of two-sided tape, and this panel's kind of holding it together right now. And also, this is complete tangent. This, you might be able to see, this is very like dirty. This is how it was found at the Goodwill, how both of these were. I've cleaned this one up a little bit since then, but I've still left some of it just because I haven't got around to cleaning it fully. A little paint mark or something. But anyways, let's get to... Well, actually, hold on. I'll take that back. I'll show you the insides of this thing. So, most people would probably use, like, I don't know, a Raspberry Pi. And actually, let me go get mine. Because I have one. I have a single Raspberry Pi that I bought many years ago. It is a Model 3 B, I think. It's kind of in shambles right now. But this is kind of it. So, there was a keyboard on it. The battery in the keyboard swelled up, and I took it off, and it's just kind of in shambles. This has been sitting on my shelf for years, like at least 7, probably. Because I made this when I was in high school. Been out of high school for at least 6 years. I'm saying that just so I don't give out the exact time, but I'm trying to put this thing on, demonstrate. This is too much for this video, but since I've brought this sucker out, I might as well show it off a little bit. So the whole thought of this thing was like a Pit Boy. You just put it on, and the battery pack goes here. It's popped off. But this is where my Pi 3 sits. I kind of don't want to take it out of this. And I've looked at prices for Pis now, and oh my goodness, I'd rather not right now. But I also have tons and tons of these things, these hunks of junk, these like terrible laptops. So thundering a little bit. These things, well, wait a second, that thing is decimated. Let me go get a different one. Okay, so that was the one that this came out of. This is the testing one that I've been using. And I also kind of decimated it just slightly, but this is it. I mean, it looks great. These things are basically brand new because they're junk. At one of my previous jobs, they bought these for work from home, and they're just junk. They're supposed to run Windows 10, and they can't. They just can't. They have like 2 gigs of RAM, or maybe 4 or something. It has like not nearly enough to run Windows 10. But it runs Linux Mint great. Well, maybe not great. It will run it. And that's all it needs to do. Oh, side note. I decimated this thing because something happened, and I tried to lift this keyboard up because this is how you gain access to it. And I like, you can kind of maybe see all the ribbon cables in there. Yeah, I just completely tore the ribbon cable port. I've lost the word to the trackpad. I ripped it clean off the board. So this thing it still works. It's still a good testing thing, but that trackpad is gone. So I guess I'll plug it up and kind of show you how it boots up and everything. So I have it set right now to have auto boot on. So basically, as soon as it gets power, everything starts up. It takes it a while. It is on an SSD. It still takes a while because, like I said, that thing is a hunk of junk. But I reused it, and that was what my goal was. So I'm plugging it in now, and you will see here in a moment. Yep, this will light up. But like I said, it will take a moment. So while it's doing that, I can talk a little bit, and maybe I don't think you guys can see it, but so I found a post online. I can't remember what the website was, but somebody else had already designed all this iCade stuff. Well, not this. I made that, but this whole like this panel and this like speaker grill thing and like all of this, they had made this already. But it's for a Raspberry Pi, so I kind of made it work. And also, they used a different size screen. I think their screen was larger than these little 7-inch screens. But like I said, I just wanted to use what I had. So I made the screen a little bit bigger, not quite big enough. And I know I can easily just reprint it, but I didn't feel like it. So as you can see, it's trying to come up maybe. Maybe you can tell that the screen has lit up. There's the mint cursor. So it comes up, and if we hope everything goes right, it should boot up. I've had a few issues with it before, but it's been like once or twice. So yep, there it goes. It's booting up to emulation station. It's actually got RetroPie on it because I got that to work somehow. It's been so long ago since I actually got this working and started on this project that I can't remember. But anyways, it starts right up, and also, this is a little funny. This has got Galaga on it, but this is a little funny. If you push this in and let go, it just pops up. And this is how it's always been. And you can just pull that straight out. But, well, there it goes. So, while Galaga is booting, and I will say, so if I'm remembering right, the person who made this design that I got the 3D printable stuff from, I think he added buttons. That's a little loud. Let me go ahead and just quit this for the time being. So you might have noticed there, I hit these 4 buttons to quit. That's because I didn't add any extra buttons to this machine. Some people add like a start and a select button down here or just like somewhere on the thing. I didn't do that. So what I did is I installed a program on Mint to remap some of these buttons and listen for certain combinations. So these 4, if you hit these 4 at the same time, that's basically, it's quit. I think it's Alt F4. And actually, I need to start Galaga back up to kind of better show you some of the other shortcuts. There's only 3. There's these 4 for quit. And I think these 2 are select, and then these 2 are start. But we'll see that here in just a second. Okay, so if we hit these 2, yep, adds credits, and then this starts it. So I'm just going to quit that because I don't know if that audio is going to give me any grief. Anyways, this is A and B. Nope, I lied. This is A, B, X, and Y, I do believe. And then these are the 2 triggers or bumpers, and these are the 2 triggers. And then just the standard down, left, right. Let me start up. I like starting this one up, and I know this one will give me grief, audio-wise, but just to show you that this is kind of more what it was meant to be on, or like why I wanted this sort of screen instead of a vertical one. And so I could just do these. And then let me just talk over this like really loud, really quick, just so it doesn't get included in anything. But there it is. And it looks a lot better in person because the viewing angles on this screen is not the best. But let me go ahead and hit start. Okay, let's stop the music. So anyways, it does have audio, as you notice there. So there are two speakers here, and that is also ripped out of this thing right here. No, that one has already been ripped. I really don't know if you can see back there, but there are a set of speakers back there, and I ripped them out and just plugged them in, and it works. It did give me like 1 or 2 tries, but I did get it working. So it has speakers. They sound pretty good, in my opinion, for what it is. I feel like I had a train of thought, and I jumped right off of that train, and I don't know where I was going at from there. But these are some of my games I had growing up and played tons of. It's such a good song. The soundtrack is so great. But let's continue on, not get sidetracked too much. So let me think. What else is here? So this thing here, this controller, it has its own board, and I don't have this one in pieces to kind of show you how it works. But there's like you're supposed to put batteries in it, and it has its own little control board inside that gives it Bluetooth and for the iPad. So I didn't use that, and I instead bought an adapter. And actually, I think this is about time to just pull this little thing off. Wow, it's not that good. But there is the insides of this thing. Let me see if I can get this a little bit closer. I don't want to move the camera because it is... The way it's set up right now is so crazy. So here's this little phone piece that likes to, knock the screen off. And you can see... Can you see that light? Yeah, this bright light here. That's the motherboard. So the motherboard in that laptop is all the way from down there all the way up here. It is actually probably like bending because there's so much pressure in here. Because this thing was designed for a Raspberry Pi with like these little support brackets. And I didn't use that. And you can see here, I ripped that off of the print to give myself more room. And then there is a little fan from the laptop in there. It is spinning. Whether it actually works, like it's actually cooling anything down, who knows? It's not overheated on me yet, so it's got to be doing something. But there, right down there, is the little control board for these arcade buttons. And that's just something I got off of Amazon. That is one of the few things I did have the special order. I did mention earlier that this is Bluetooth and it's meant for an iPad. However, if I remember right in my testing, like when I first got these, it doesn't really Bluetooth to a computer well. Because I want to think they are... I could be completely wrong about this, but I want to think they're made for iPad and to bypass like some of Apple's things that they had very early on. So I want to think it was something about it was just a little funny, and I didn't want to keep putting batteries in it. I didn't want to have to like refill batteries to play it, I just wanted it to be plugged straight into it. So this thing here will lift up. And another little funny thing about this, and you can see, okay, maybe I should show you on this other one first. It's kind of in frame. So this thing lifts up and it's got like the instructions. There are some little like metal pegs here that keep it from falling all the way down. And then there's two in the back that like keep it on that hinge. This one didn't have that. This one, they had it like backwards somehow. So this thing just kind of like loose up here. So there are two metal pegs in the front that keep it like these two up here. I can't get them out. I couldn't get them out. So this thing is sitting a little bit more forward than it should be, but you don't notice it if I hadn't pointed it out. But since these two pegs back here are missing, I had to come up with this little funny thing called just cutting a piece of copper cable and just sticking it in there, or electrical copper cable, and just sticking it in there just far enough to where it can like hook in there, and then it just kind of friction fits and just sits on there, and it's perfect. That's all it needs to do. So this thing maybe is falling just a slight bit, but this little iCade thing is something I printed. So this will actually lift up, and you can swap these out somehow. If I can get a grip on it. Okay, and then there's the LED strips underneath it. But I could design another one, print it out, and slide it in there in place of that. But I just wanted just a basic iCade thing for now, and kind of as a test, because I didn't know how well the LED lights would get through this orange. And it's okay. It could be brighter, but I like it. It's pretty good. That's kind of the whole thing with this system, is that it could be better, but it's good enough, and I like it, and it works. So it's good enough for me, at least right now. So it's so, man, this thing, you can maybe see here, these wires are so like stressed and just shoved in there that I know it's not good for the ports or anything, but it works. You might be able to see in there, I can't tell. But there is a little HDMI stage. Oh, you can see the screen like kind of shake there. There's a little HDMI adapter thing that I can't remember if it came with this Pi or if I bought it, but it goes in like right there. It's meant for that little like that close like connection of the two HDMI ports, and that's what's that's what's kind of holding this screen in place. That little HDMI adapter is holding this screen in place as well as its power cable, and then this foam is keeping it kind of straight enough. So it does hold and it does work. So let me just kind of see this, and you can see there it gets a little, the screen gets a little stressed. So, and then I just put some pressure on it and then hope it stays. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, also I did, so up here, I was going to mention this, is an actual, let me move this. So this LED strip is USB powered. Oh no. Oh no, I pulled the whole thing off. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm not going to pick that back up. There is a USB cable back here that powers this LED strip. And if you want, you can unplug it, or if you have to, I should say. Well, I guess I need to do some things in Mint, and it's starting to rain. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is starting to rain. But anyways, you can unplug this USB LED strip and plug in a keyboard and mouse, or like one of those 2-in-1 keyboard and mouse things, and then you can just use it like a computer. Because, like I said, this is just Mint, Linux Mint running RetroPie. That is just set the run on startup and just take off working. And this has just a few different things. I will say the farthest thing I have tried to run on this, the hardest thing I've tried to run on this is N64, and it's just one of these Mortal Kombat games that I have. And it does run. It actually runs it pretty okay, which I do know N64 games are super hard to emulate, so I don't, in a way, it's, it is because the motherboard and all of it is just not good, but it also is just a challenge to run this thing. But, I mean, it is playable, and this is the only N64 game I've tried. Something like, let's see, where's Sub-Zero? Something like Ocarina of Time maybe might run better or worse. I really don't know because I haven't tried it. But this runs pretty okay for what it is. I actually don't know what the buttons are right quick. So I'm just kind of messing around here. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, she's spamming, man. See, it kind of hiccups or stutters a little bit there. Yeah, I really don't know what the buttons are or what I'm doing. Anyway. But I really enjoy this, and it's like super janky, and it's not like nearly the best that it could be. But I really like it, and I like how it is. And kind of the jankiness of it kind of gives it some charm to me. It kind of, it reminds me that I put this together. It's not something I just bought. And like when you're playing it, I don't think you can see it on camera, but you can see those bright white and red LEDs down there. But I don't care. It's good. I like it. This volume's a little loud. Anyways, I feel like there's something else I was going to mention about this, but this has been going on for a while now. Oh, okay. Kind of backtracking a little bit. Another reason that this was so difficult to like shove everything in there and why it's so pressurized in there is I fit everything in between this first like little spot here and this back wall. A lot of people I've seen do this simply just like drill a hole or something and use this whole back cavity and then just put a fake wall on it and then use this little bottom area too. Like they just use the whole thing. I didn't do that. This whole thing is entirely contained in between this little space. Let me just turn this on around so you can see a little bit. There we go. There's nothing. And there's only one power cord coming out the back of it, and that is the cord that powers the motherboard. And the motherboard from there, everything is plugged into that. The lights are plugged into it. The screen is plugged into it, and the controller. So there are no free USB ports, but you could probably like put a USB hub up here on this top one and just give you more. But I think that might be all I have to say about this for right now. Like it's very, very like lazily. I don't know how to say lazily, but it kind of is. It's thrown together, but I really enjoy it. It's just so fun, and I'm just gonna try to speed this along here. But basically, it would just kind of pop out, pop out like that, and then it would just fall over. And then this thing, wow, that tape's actually holding pretty well right now. I don't know if I want to rip that off, but this screen would just like kind of pop off and then fall down just a little bit, being held together by the ribbon cable. So, but that's kind of it. And like I said, this is just like one of those odd videos that I put together just because it's a project I've been working on. I just really thought it was fun and cool, and it could be so much better. But I will also add this on. There is, so on my testing laptop, I made this entire, I guess you could say, this image that I put on this. It is just mint that I put together on that testing laptop I showed you. So I threw it all together. I got everything set up, put what I needed on it, put the software on it, got all the setup or the apps on startup correct, the screen turned around, all of that. I put it on the hard drive that was in it, and then I used this software called Clonezilla, I think it was called. I burned that to a disk, and then used it to make a clone of the hard drive, so I could just put that copy on the SSD that's in this. That way, I have a copy of the image, so I can do stuff with it if I need to, or if I do have plans to make another one. Well, not necessarily plans. I have a thought to make another one, but instead of using one of these small 7-inch screens, it will be. Oops, that is going to pull the whole thing down. It'll be this machine here, but with the screen of the laptop in this somehow. It's just going to be a big vertical version. And that would really be the best one to play like Galaga on, or any actual arcade game on. That would probably be the best way to play it, would be on this one. But this one is kind of more, the landscape screen, more games like this, like Pokemon or any sort of widescreen home console or handheld game. So, but anyways, that's really about it. That's all I can really say about this for now, and kind of just how it is, the point that I've got to with it, and if I have any other updates with it, if I do anything else, or if I decide to work on this one took me forever to actually get going on. If I finally get around to getting this one done, I'll probably make a video on that one too. But if you guys have any questions, or the screen's starting to go. I just saw it pop loose. Okay. It might fall here in a second. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about this or just anything, just let me know in the comments. And this is a new type of video for this channel. If you guys, there goes the screen. You guys might recognize this from another channel, but if you don't worry about it. But this setup, I mean. But if you have any questions about it, just let me know. Any suggestions of any games you'd like to see me play, or anything you'd like to see me do, just let me know. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.